Murat is now saying that he is ready for another negotiation, but the European Union has actually sent the message that it is ready for a tough negotiation with America on trade. On the other hand, you said that Trump has not yet met with the Chinese leader, while at the same time targeting Iranian oil. What happened?
There's a very intense abstraction, so it is necessary to summarize it briefly and make a general summarization in order to update. The European Union has not yet been the direct target of US sanctions. Many other issues are currently prioritized by Trump, but the European Commission is constantly making statements on this issue almost every day. Again, there is von der Leyen's statement. Once again, in recent days, we have witnessed the rapid escalation of events. We stand prepared to face this challenging situation and safeguard the interests of the European Union. It is important to analyze not only from the perspective of Trump, but also consider the other side. They are waiting to see what will come. Meanwhile, there is a retaliation from China. The United States has applied an additional customs document to China of 10%, or the United States said it had started to do so. There is China's counter move there too. America's imported coal and liquefied natural gas will apply a 15% document. It is this lengthy side that directly affects prices a lot. It is an issue that America is very sensitive about right now. You know, it wants to produce a lot of coal and sell it to the world. Liquefied natural gas, more precisely. Now he says, I will bring additional documents. So it's actually a bit more like this. It is one of the points that can play with Trump's nerve endings. The economic impact may not be huge, but it sends the message that I can do it too. On the one hand, he again introduced a 10% tariff on crude, oil, agricultural machinery, and vehicles. He said he would complain to the World Trade Organization. He complained to America. There is a step there. There was some news yesterday. Trump and Xi Jinping could meet within 24 hours. Nothing like that has happened yet. He said he will meet when it is appropriate. Trump does not yet have a date, and so on. Of course, it will be in the form of a phone call. All these issues will be discussed there. The issue of whether other Chinese companies can get the sanctions list has become very frequent, especially on the e-commerce side. There was already a story in the Wall Street Journal the other day. Let's imagine there is backstage news suggesting that China is actively preparing for a trade agreement. So far, there has been no official statement on this matter, but it is evident that China wants to assert its position at the negotiating table. China is also determined to take necessary actions. Considering its relatively lower vulnerability to American sanctions, China resembles Mexico, which relies heavily on the US but maintains an independent stance. While China has connections with America, it has the ability to stand on its own, hence our anticipation for future developments in this regard. Addressing another relevant topic, recent statements by the US regarding Iran's actions were made yesterday, enclosing the approval of a decree. The policy of maximum pressure on Iran will be resumed. There is no new decision in this direction, no new sanctions or anything like that. I hope I won't even use that, Trump said. He said he would deal with Iran, but the focus is again on the nuclear weapons issue. Iran's nuclear, they want to completely prevent the creation of weapons or the production of work. If necessary, they can put new sanctions on the agenda as part of this pressure policy. But there is no new decision taken yet, by the way, so it could probably affect production. First of all, Iranian production and so on may fall, but there was a news before this news that caught my attention in the last 24 hours. There was a decision taken by OPEC. Recently, Trump contacted OPEC specifically discussing Russia. The reason behind this decision is publicly known. He was saying, of course, lower these prices a little bit. Lower them so that Russia cannot make so much money. In this way, it will weaken on the war side, and we will get what we want on the war side. Let the process develop in favor of Ukraine. Now, OPEC's direct statement on this issue is Trump's, not to the extent that he expresses it. He may not react like that at the same level. There is one headline that raises the question of whether there is a message. OPEC normally has its own statistics, of course. It makes plans according to its own statistics, but other subsidiary organizations, in fact, it collects data from international energy companies, or rather institutions, and makes some plans accordingly. One of the points from which it took one of the data was the US Energy Information Administration. He announced that he removed it from the list. He said he would no longer use its data.
Okay.
The criticisms made by the United Nations before, the International Energy Agency, I apologize. We also removed it from the list. Before that, there were criticisms against OPEC. This comes to mind. OPEC is not only responding to America like this. Is he sending a message? I mean, no, I'm not going to listen to you. That's how I'm reacting to you. There's no change on the production side. This scenario is a little stronger when you look at it from my point of view. Obviously, since Russia is already in the OPEC+, it is not expected to make a big difference in this sense.